Okay, so I just want to make one more video, and one of the things that I want to kind of talk to you guys about is these suckers, food labels. Ta-da! And I will tell you what to look for on food labels and how to basically educate yourself so that you do make smarter choices before you even put the food in your body. Because what I found is if I don't buy junk, I won't eat junk. So I'm like when I go to the grocery store, it's like, I'm like, I'm game set, I'm focused, I'm not like picking this up, I'm picking this up, or oh, this looks good. No, 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 no. I don't put anything in my basket before if I don't read the food label. But that goes for like, yeah, prepackaged foods like this cereal, and this cereal's fantastic. These are like, I think these are, I don't know if they're organic, but they're very natural, like you know, yeah, source of fiber, contains whole grains, no added sugar. That's one of the things you want to look for. Okay, so let's get started. Here it is, nutritional facts, okay? So one of the first things you obviously want to look for is the serving size. Because, the serving size can mean a whole lot. I mean, for instance, the serving size on here is 60 grams. Let me just do some quick math, just to give you an idea. Okay, it's 60 grams. The whole box itself is 560, meaning that there's about, 9 to 10 servings per box. So, if you were to sit down and eat this entire box, you would consume 2,050 calories, which is not what you want to do. But, whatever. So you gotta kind of watch your serving sizes, So always check that, and kind of after a while you kind of get the sense. And I mean, yeah, just kind of look at it, like, okay, this is 560, so nine servings, so just kind of, eyeball, so you kind of know how much so don't think like half the box is whatever. You guys are smart. Come on, you guys know this stuff. So always pay attention to the serving size, okay? The second thing you want to look at is obviously calories. So, just kind of to give you kind of get an idea of how much you should be eating. So this is per 60 gram serving, it's 220 calories. That's not bad, I could see myself put some milk in there, add some, fruit or whatever. Like, that's a good breakfast. There you go, 350 calories or whatever for breakfast. That's doable, So, again, like, you kind of gauge yourself that way. The next thing you want to look at is fat. Fat! And a lot of the times what they do is they break down fat. There's, into, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's fat, and there's saturated fat and trans fats. And so they give you kind of like the fat total, which in this case is 5 grams. And then the saturated fat is 1.5. So the rest of the fat is polysaturated and monosaturated. I think that's what they're called. I'm pretty sure that's what they're called. And those are like the good fats for you. Those are like the fats that are usually found in like nuts and whatever. So basically, when I read a food label, I always look at the fat content, the total. So here it's 5 grams. And then I look at the saturated fat. And what I do is I want to pick up a product that's usually low in saturated fat. I am not scared off by the 5 grams of fat per serving. Because because only 1.5 grams out of that is saturated fat. So the rest of the fat is good fat. And because the cereal is really like loaded with a lot of nuts, see, a mix of crunchy cashew, Brazil nuts, hazelnuts, almonds, so like all those nuts are high in fat, but it's good fat for you. So that's what you want to look for. You want to check the fat content and then check how much of that is actually saturated fat, and try to keep the saturated fat fairly low. Cholesterol is another fat, so you want to keep that fairly low. You don't want that too high. The next thing on the list after cholesterol, I don't know if you guys can really see that. There you go. Is sodium, okay? What you want to do is, I personally like to eat low sodium, because what sodium does is your body retains water, so then you get, you look like soft. Like, if you want to get like muscle definition, it's like all this, I don't know if you guys can see the definition in my arm there, but that's because my body's not retaining too much water. If I were to start, spooning salt and salt and salt and eating salty foods and stuff, then my body, like all these little crevices and whatnot, would disappear, because then my body would kind of be like a sponge and just soak up water and whatever. So you want to keep the sodium low. Personally, I like to keep it really low. If I see something high in sodium, I won't buy it. High in sodium is, like, this one has 20 milligrams per serving. That's really low in sodium. That's like almost no sodium in this. So yeah, that's the other thing. If you go for nuts, get roasted but unsalted. Do not go for salted, because that's going to raise the sodium, and sodium is bad. You don't want sodium. Well, you need some sodium, but you will get that, trust me. It's not hard to get, the daily requirement of sodium. I think the daily requirement is something like 1500, but I'm not even sure. Don't quote me on that, because I'm not sure. I generally try to keep it really low, so again, this is 20 milligrams, so yes, if it's high sodium, I do not buy it. The next thing on there is carbohydrate. Yay! And carbs, as you can see, is broken down into fiber and sugar. So what you want to look for here is that it's high in fiber, because fiber, like I said before, keeps you full. And you want to make sure it's low in sugar, because what sugar does is sugar actually spikes your insulin. If you consume a meal that's really heavy loaded with sugar, your insulin level spikes, and then eventually what happens is it drops. And then when it drops, you get that, what people call a sugar crash. So basically, you kind of get tired and you feel hungry. So that's the other reason why you want to keep it, low sugar, because you don't want to get that dip where you feel hungry. You kind of want to keep your sugar level throughout the day even, because then you don't get those, you don't get that roller coaster, which we sometimes get. So that's actually another thing I always look for. Check the carbs. There's 37 grams of carbs in here per serving. 4 grams of fiber is pretty high. You want to, if it's like 5 grams of, 4 or 5 grams is pretty high, because you're required to eat about 25 grams. So that's actually really good. Because that's like, what, 20% of your, daily fiber intake in your cereal. Alright? And then again, sugars, you want to keep that low. This one it's always going to have a little bit of sugar. Well, not always, but, because but it says here, no added sugar. So it's all natural sugar, because there are some dried fruits in here, like dates and raisins. They all have some sugar in them, because it's a fruit, right? But it's all natural sugar. There's no added sugar, and it's fairly low. 13 grams, out of 37 grams is pretty good. If you get, the sugary frosted flakes or whatever, it's going to be, literally, it's going to be, 40 grams of carbs, and, 30-something grams of that is going to be sugar. That's going to go beep, beep, and then you're going to be hungry and crashing. So you want to keep that in check. So, and then the last one, of course, is protein. And this one has 6 grams of protein. Not bad for a cereal. But, yeah, so I always check that protein is a little higher. But, yeah, so the things that you always want to look for, again, just a quick review on the nutritional facts, is you want to check the serving sizes. There we go. Check the serving sizes. Then you want to look at the calories per serving, so you get a kind of idea of how much, how much it is, so you can kind of estimate how much you need. Then you want to look at the fat, the total fat, and then the saturated fat. Make sure it's low in saturated fat. Keep the cholesterol low, sodium low. Check your carbs. Make sure it's high in fiber and low in sugars, and you should be good. So that's kind of what I just wanted to go over. These are the things that you want to look for, and yes. I almost killed myself there. So that's how you read food labels. So check those, and you should be on your way to a healthy you.